All right, so I've been working on this conversation system for a long time as I've gone over in the past, and I'm gonna try to break it down with some actual gameplay. All right. Nice. So, what is this dialogue system all about? So what happens is basically an AI, if they're initiating the conversation, a little pop-up bubble like this will come onto the screen, and it'll kind of type out their introductory, like if they're saying hi or something like that. And then so you have to look at them. And then once you look at them, it'll activate into this chat window. So you can see there's a lot going on already in the chat window, but basically what's happening is you're selecting your different expression options. So I've got my VR controller, and as you can see, my mannequin's playing for me right now as far as looking around. And I can actually choose between two different expression options on the side. So the really cool thing about this is it's the first consistent dialogue expression damage system that I've ever seen in a game. And what that means is, just like Pokemon or any sort of turn-based like jrpg, there's a damage type associated with everything that you're saying that has consistent effects on the AI's actual response. And we're going to see that in a minute. So, okay, obtuse is a combination of unique and dumb as an expression. So she's talking to me. I can't see her, so I'm maybe a little bit confused. Excuse me is a clean and dumb, clean and also dumb expression combination. And so you can see these little dots that type in the little window right here is actually what the damage component. So clean is this sort of purpley color, dumb is this sort of pink color, and you can see the different effects. So in this case, I've already unlocked sort of like the known damage types of this AI's personality. So she doesn't like unique in a friendship way, but she does like it in a attraction respect way. She does like dumb in a friendship way, and she's also attracted to dumb in a attraction way. So that's cool. So dumb is actually a pretty strong option here. Clean is a little bit similar, so it boosts a multiplier and lowers a multiplier. So let's go with obtuse. So you can actually see here the calculation system. So a lot happened in a really short time, but you're going to see it a lot in the game. So you'll get used to what this all means. I'll pause it on the next time around. So I'm selecting my expressions. Up or down is the different expressions on the controller, and then left or right, I'm actually switching up the meaning. And this is where this kind of goes wild on the possible combinations and the ability of the player to choose not just what they want to say, but how they're going to say it. So these two are two expressions of the same option. So I'm like, oh, like what's happening? Where are you going? Where's this coming from? Where are you? It's kind of the same idea, but I'm expressing it in different ways, with a stubborn way or a poetic way, which is me trying to be a little bit more clever as far as the phrasing. And then this, who is this, is me asking more about the person. So it's like a slightly different type of thing to say. So let's just go with, where are you? And here's another really cool thing. So you can actually break up player options into multiple consecutive choices that all get evaluated. So this has a lot of implications as well for how you can interact with AIs with the dialogue, but we'll just select another option here for now. So I've said two things in a row, and now she's going to respond. So I'm pausing it here to point out what's going on. This kind of overlaid gradient effect represents all of the spectrum of her reaction. So based on what you just said, she's reacting anywhere from a 0, which would be this bright pink color, to a 10, which would be this bright teal color. Now, your existing relationship is a 5 out of 10. That's your bond with her. For most characters, your bond is going to start out at a 5, which is pretty neutral. So when she's reacting, she's starting at this neutral place. And then what happens is what you just said. So she's reacting to, are you invisible? What you just said, it's going to grab the damage components from this dialogue, the way that you expressed it, and it's going to and then it's going to apply that damage to the calculation. So the first tone didn't do much as far as her reaction, but the secondary tone had a significant negative effect. So instead of her saying a slightly nicer thing, or her reacting a slightly more positive way, and that's positive to her, to the AI, you know. If she gets it a 10 out of 10, it's not necessarily meaning she's declaring her undying love for you. A 10 out of 10 or a 0 out of 0, a 0 out of 0 represents the worst possible reaction she could have to you in that moment, in that context. So in the context of me asking if she's invisible, she's choosing a lower option now because she didn't like the way that I'm phrasing things, which is a more demanding tone. So now that she's decided she's going to react more poorly or more negatively to you, that expands. It shows you her reaction emotion. So she's feeling pain is her reactive expression. And that's generated based on whether she has a positive or negative reaction to what you're saying. And then she starts to talk. So, you know, so she's, you know, being relatively abrasive here and telling us that she's not gonna answer anything. So I can be more aggressive and basically call her, you know, as if she's being kind of bitchy because she's broken into our apartment, which is kind of indicated by the curtains fluttering in the wind here. I could also kind of push her off in a less hostile way, which might be good. And then I can also just focus on, I can say something completely different. I can just go along with things like, okay, fine. What are we going to talk about then? So maybe I'll go with that. She actually really likes this response. I'm seeing hearts and fire. Fire represents her, you know, building the attraction. We started out completely at the bottom, so we're growing some attraction, but we've actually lost some of the friendship. So the friendship bond is falling, and if it gets all the way down, then it'll go to a 4. And her reactions, instead of having this starting place at the middle, her reaction place will start lower. So that's a significant thing to be aware of what's happening. So she really liked that, though. Our relationship is climbing, and she's reacting in a more positive way. Some of the dialogue is matched to different sequences, so I'm still working on some of that. But you can start to see the power of seeing this kind of feedback, seeing the reactions. And so that's a general breakdown of how the dialogue system works. I know there's a lot, and there's actually even more to it as well. There's these sub graphics, which are the multipliers, which represent her capacity to become attracted to you in multiple different ways. And the bar is affected. And in some cases, instead of using the relationships bond to react to how she wants to say things back to the player, she'll use the respect meter. So by default, the respect is at a 0. So if I were to say anything that she would process in a respect way, like if I said, hey, do you want to go out with me? Well, she doesn't have any respect. So she would start at a 0 out of 10 at the very bottom of that bar. And even if she loved what I'm expressing, she probably could only get to like a 2 out of 10 and maybe reject me slightly less cruelly. And if she doesn't if she has 0 respect for me, I ask her out and she doesn't like the way that I do it, it'll definitely stay at a 0, which will basically result in the worst possible reaction. She will reject me in the meanest way that she wants to. So that's kind of a brief venture into all of the, UI elements, but also some of the math that's going on for this dialogue system. And it's the Electra engine of, dialogue selection and reaction, but this is, of course, within Double Demons, the game. So tune in, and I'll definitely be going over this a lot more and probably cleaning up away some of the interactions work and also using the basis as a more standard scene where the other character isn't invisible to demonstrate a lot more behaviors more easily. But thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.